recognized our first ever unified basketball team. So congratulations. This year's team was a huge success. They did a wonderful job. I'm talking both the athletes, the partners, and of course our coaches. First though, I'd like to thank Dr. Graham and the Board of Education, Cheryl Cardone, for moving so quickly and supporting this program. And I think I stood up here with Chris DeMarco last year, about a year ago, trying to get this thing rolling, and Chris understood what it was about. I really didn't. And boy, I'll tell you, from that first contest down, and there were 7 regular season contests, and then I think he had 2 playoff games. But you talk about good coaching, from the first game to the last game, they improved. And they improved the right way. These coaches taught them skills, they taught them how to play the game, but they weren't necessarily concerned with wins and losses. So to get things moving, I'm going to call up Coach Simpson, and Coach Albert, who's ever going to be doing your presentations. We just thought it was appropriate to recognize them and to hand out the letters and the certificates just like all our other varsity teams get at the banquets. So congratulations, this team, just a wonderful job. Chris?
Just a couple of things. I just put a quick slideshow together to show you some of the pictures and some of the things that we've done with the unified team. I did it in a couple of days. Don't be mad if it's a little bit crazy. On Wednesday night, I learned that I was doing a presentation. I also got called for jury duty. Thursday, Friday, I got picked, so I went back Monday. We had softball and baseball tournaments Saturday and Sunday in Batavia. We went to the prom and the post-prom Saturday night, so we had a busy weekend. So unified basketball, if you didn't know, I know Mr. Roth, Mrs. Cardone, and maybe Mr. DeMarco explained to you earlier, but it includes both students with special needs and without special needs. We play regular games against other high schools. There's around 24 high schools in our area that now do this, and it gives all the kids an opportunity to play who probably wouldn't have had that opportunity to play in the regular basketball season. Go ahead, Paul, if you want to switch that. The second thing before, and I'll bring all of our players up because we will be awarding the first varsity letters to special needs students and our student athlete partners tonight in the history of Grand Island, but I will call them all up individually to identify them. But just so you know, the unified season this year was probably the most excellent, super, unbelievable, fantastic sports season that I've been involved with. And I say that because when I went to high school, I played basketball. That was the only sport that I really played. In my junior year, we were 27-0. We won the state and federation title. In my senior year, we were 23-2. We were runners-up. When I went back and coached my first 2 years, we won back-to-back state titles. So I've had a little bit of success, but this season trumped all of that. This year up on the board, I have our 11 players that joined. Again, I'll introduce them as you go on. Go ahead, Paul, if you want to go to the next one. We also had 7 partners who participated on the team from the school, 10th graders, 11th graders, and seniors. Yeah, they're all up by the rim, dunking, throwing it down. Paul's pretty good. You can flip on, Paul. And again, we'll make it quick so we can get the people up here. What we did in April is we started practicing when we came back from break. We did everything that the regular basketball players did in our practices. We had a schedule, we stretched, we did skill and drill with 1 and 2 basketballs. We did a lot of hand-eye coordination type things. And the basic things in basketball that we worked on were layups, bank shots, dribbling. We did a lot of celebrating and cheering in practice. And then we got into some full court games. And those are just some pictures from some of the skill and the drill that we did during the practices and the different things that we worked on. One more second. Next, one of the best things that we did was taking the bus rides, and sorry, Dr. Graham, if you had to hire a new bus driver, it was pretty loud on the bus. There was a lot of singing and dancing. It was different than anything else I've ever done before with a sports team. There were a lot of snacks, but the biggest thing was the camaraderie between all the players. You wouldn't believe how well our players interacted together, even though they were from different grades, different backgrounds, different classes in school, everything different, but they interacted so well. It was the coolest thing to see on our bus rides back and forth to our away games. And again, just some of the pictures from some of the bus rides. You know, where Austin's upside down. We got to the games, and as Mr. Ralph said, we won one game. We tied a game at Sweet Home, which were pretty good victories since it was our first year, all different players, all new players. We lost 5 games, and then we came close in our 2 playoff games. We lost to Olmsted by 11 points, which actually went on to win the whole Unified Sports Championship. And then we lost to Lockport, a team that had 2 6'6" kids on it, and we didn't have anybody over, whatever Paul is, I think. So it turned out pretty good. And then again, there's just a couple of the pictures from the games if you want to go on to the next one, Paul. Our kids had fun. All of our kids played. I couldn't say that for all the schools. Some of the schools, not all of their kids played, which was kind of a letdown, but all of our kids played. All of our kids went in on a couple different shifts. And again, 3 of our students went in and played with 2 of our partners at all times. Except for one game, I snuck all 5 of our athletes in one game. Nobody knew the difference. They scored 6 points in the 4th quarter, so they did a great job together. Some of the other great events that we had a lot of stuff at halftime and quarters. It was like an NBA final in between the quarters and the halftime. Some of the things that we did at our games were the Macarena and the electric slide. At Sweet Home, we did the cha-cha slide, which I really didn't know how to do, but that was okay. I kind of learned it. One night we had Miss Kennedy Appreciation Night at the high school, and our senior night, I think it should be Miss Kennedy and Mr. Gorton Appreciation Night every day. If you knew what they did every day in and out here at the school, you would agree with me. At Lockport, we had a halftime shooting competition where Stephen Palmieri, April Booker, and, help me out, who was the other person that did the shooting competition? Chris Coluto, thank you, she did a great job, had 8 baskets. We had a sing-along in our first game, and Anderson's Ice Cream donated ice cream at the end of our senior night for all the players and families and some of the fans that came. And those are just some of the dancing and the activities that went on during the halftime and the quarter. And again, there's Austin again. He was a showman. He was up in the corner playing the drums at Clarence for the band. On senior night, it was like every other senior night. We honored our 5 seniors, who I'll introduce you to tonight, called them out with their parents. I think they had a ball. Go ahead, Paul. And again, it was Miss Kennedy Appreciation Night. I don't know if you can see the picture on the right in the middle. I think she was a little surprised and a little taken back. She told me she didn't want anything done, but we couldn't do that for Mrs. Kennedy. We had to make sure she went out in style. And again, the Macarena, I could do that one. And again, during the senior night game, we actually ended up winning. We beat Medina, who was pretty good. They have 5 pretty good athletes on their team, and we ended up winning by 5 or 6. And then you see Jacob's victory dance and Paul, I think, high-fiving Allie Faye. She's off the ground pretty high in that last bottom one. And again, we won't hold you too long. We thought it was important to just thank all the people. I put them up on the board: Mr. Roth, Mr. DeMarco, Mrs. Christ for the scheduling, Mrs. Cardone, Dr. Graham, Mr. Gorton. The faculty and staff all came out and supported our team this year. My yearbook and marketing kids, who I'm blessed to have them in class, they made tickets for all the games. They made playing cards, which some of our players have for the members that are up front, just to look at if you'd like to. And they helped with the marketing and the billboards and the signs that went up. We had a lot of fans come to the game. The last game, one of the people from the Gazette was here, and he said, "Hey, this seems just like a playoff game at Buff State. It looks just like this." I said, "That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be just like everything else." We had a lot of parents and professionals come and help us at practice and at the games. And the people who I want to thank the most, if I haven't done it already, are all the partners that are here with the athletes. You wouldn't believe, we did everything from setting up the gym to setting up the chairs to putting the signs up, cleaning up after. They did everything, helping the players change, helping with senior night plans, helping with practice and all the drills. So they really did all the work. I just came and kind of facilitated a little bit. That's all that I really did. I threw some words up there, and again, I didn't want to make a big presentation, but if you notice all the words up there, those are things that we did and all of our players worked on during the year. And you notice there's no dribbling, there's no shooting, although we did those things. We thought those were the more important things that you're never going to get in, a regular classroom in a textbook. It's great learning for these kids to do it, and they did such a good job of it this year. And on the bottom, I put the word family, because that's what we really become. I know a lot of times coaches at the end of the year say, "Hey, we're a family, we're going to stay together," and then after that day or the last game, they don't talk together. The day after our last game, there were 9 kids in my room. Two particular, Chewy, because he comes in and eats Pop-Tarts every morning. But they're in my room all the time, and they hang out together, and some of our students went to the prom with some of our other athletes. and went to the post-prom together, so it was quite a big deal for them. A couple other words, or one other word that I just wanted to show you, and if you could pay attention to the pictures of the last couple slides, I put the word confidence up there for a couple of pictures, and Mary, who's not here tonight. Number one, Mary sang the national anthem at our senior night, and if you were there, you wouldn't have believed it. We had Allie Faye and some of her partners come in, and they were going to do the national anthem, but as soon as the music started going, Mary grabbed the mic and asked her to show the rest of the night. We also had her as a cheerleader on the side because she wanted to finish the game doing that, so we let her do both, and for her to get up in front of all those people and do those two things was incredible. The second one is my little friend Julie, and I say that because he's the little guy next to the arrow guarding the 6'5" kid. For someone to have the confidence to go up and guard a kid who he can't even reach his chin with his hands, it is incredible. And then at halftime of the one game, he was one of the star attractions in the middle dancing. I don't know what dance it was, but it was a pretty good one. I don't need to say anything else. When he comes out, he's the star of the show. All right, he's got his hands up in the air in front of 400 people. I could never do that. No, there's no way. Jacob, again, a kid who never talked much during the year, and if you see him in school, he's the quietest kid. He had so many smiles on his face on the bus, and we made him the player of the game that day. And again, just tremendous thing to see him with his confidence and smiling, and seeing him happy. And one more. So here it is in a nutshell. And if you remember one picture from our unified year, it's right here. It's Chris Caluto throwing her hands up in the air like she just won the lottery, it looks like. All right. And the other thing that I wanted to point out, and I didn't see it in the beginning, is there's a nice kid in the background, Justin Schmadel. Not only did she score and she's happy, but he's happy for her. He's congratulating her. He's clapping his hands. It wasn't about any of our individual players, but it was literally about the unified team. So I have a couple of awards that I'm going to give out. If you want to go back over, you're good with that. You can leave that right there. Mr. Albert, you want to help me? You can do this from right here. First, I have one for Dr. Graham for helping us and supporting us. Dr. Graham is right here. We have one for Mr. DeMarco, not here tonight, but we will make sure he gets it. Mrs. Cardone also. Again, my MVP every day at the school, and believe it or not, if you've seen what he did, you would understand, is the guy behind the camera over there, Mark Gorton. He was at all our games and And the last person, administrator, we'd like to thank is Mr. Roth. Mr. Roth, we have the plaque from our unified team, all signed by all of our kids that we would love to have hung in the Vikings Mall. Again for the first year, that was pretty darn good. And again, we gave the last two teams a good run at the end.
Right. Skate around with it.
Again, I apologize for the late. I think it was kind of important today, and everybody is involved in it today, that we will be giving out our first varsity letters for both unified sports and our students with special needs. So I'm going to call them up just so we can recognize them. Before I do that, Ryan Albert was our assistant coach. Thank you, Coach, for all of your help. Who's the Buffalo North Young Life leader on the island, deals with about 400 of our kids every year, was at practice every day as another volunteer. He's been coaching with me the last probably 17 years, unpaid assistant, so we love having him around. He's in Phoenix tonight at a conference on his way home. He couldn't make it back tonight. So for our coaches tonight that helped out, didn't get to play at all, although they played a little bit in practice in the games. First one was senior Jason Messing. He was on our varsity basketball team. The next one is my son. He's at a baseball game in Batavia. I couldn't get him here. He had to play baseball, so he also helped. He's an 8th grader, but he was on my JV team, so he could not play. I'll start with our partners. The first one is Paul Singh, 10th grader. Come on up, Paul. Paul's our leading rebounder as well as our leading assist man. He had assists for both our team and the other teams. He gave the ball to the other team a couple times to help them score, which was good on his part. Kaylee Butcher is our next 10th grade student. Come on up, Kaylee. Our only junior with the team, Jasmine Dillon.
Jasmine!
10th grader Allison Fay. Tenth grader Morgan Paya. Senior Ashley Homa. And last but not least, for the partners, senior Caitlin Simpson. For our partners, we have Jacob Meza, who is not with us tonight. We have Bryce Wolf, who is not, I'll announce him and then you can clap after, thank you. We have Austin Hack. Again, I mentioned Mary Zumla earlier. And everybody else is here. So again, for the first time, students with special needs as well. April Booker, first varsity letter today. April was one of our best defenders. She was up and down the court everywhere. Next was senior Nick Pan. Again, next is senior Jesus Cisneros, aka Chewy. Dr. Graham would like to see your dance moves. Next, 10th grader Justin Schmadel. Sophomore Chris Coluto, who we talked about earlier. Latecomer, but we were glad that he came, was 10th grader Stephen Palmieri. He went from fan to helper to player in about a week and a half. And last but not least is CJ Law. Again, we appreciate it. We thank everybody who was involved this year. And again, we had a lot of support from all the people that I had up on the board. And again, I didn't do too much. I just facilitated. It was all the partners who did all the work, from the planning and the scheduling and the working with the partners. They did a good job. You should be really proud of all those students that helped out and the students that played. Did a tremendous job this year. So thank you for having us again and all the time and support.
If the board could join us for a picture, that would be great. Stand in front of the table.
Go ahead and stand up.
Pardon?
Stand up, you can get their picture.
Okay, thank you.